Some upcoming changes to medical gameplay have some people in the Star Citizen community in a bit of a tizzy. If you stumbled your way in here, this is the Star Citizen Speed Feed. I'm your host, Leaf, and I read all the monthly reports, the roadmap roundups, the community drama, to give you guys your weekly Star Citizen news recap. This week, Squadron 42, the monthly report, and some leaks. Now, usually I put the leaks at the end so the people that don't want to see them can stop watching the video, but this week there was nothing major and it felt better to sprinkle them in to the topics that they were related to. Let's start off with the monthly report and some aUEC patch notes, which both reference that medical gameplay changes that I was mentioning before. The big thing is MedGel. Isn't that a sexy name? But it's going to change how respawns operate. Medical beds in ships will now require a resource that it uses to respawn players. This is a brand new MedGel resource that can be purchased in medical facilities as an item that the player can store and manually use each time the medical bed needs refilling. Respawning will be quite demanding, so make sure you top off your medical beds to make sure you have enough to respawn, or you'll be sent back to your previous medical facility on death instead. As of now, it looks like MedGel will cost about 100,000, and Tier 1 and Tier 2 beds will allow 2 respawns per canister, whereas Tier 3 will only allow 1 respawn per canister. Hi, I'm doing that thing where the editor version of the person you were just watching on your screen shows up. As I was putting this together, they just released a massive bit of documentation on how it's going to work, including all the different injuries. And what I just said was slightly incorrect, it seems. With the medical beds, they'll have different capacities that you can put in a certain amount of MedGel, and then different amount of injuries or types of injuries will end up costing different amounts of healing costs. So I do recommend, just you can see this is a very large document. That's just page 1. Here's page 2 of it that you can go and check out, including when you die, a brand new user interface. And you'll also be allowed to have multiple different imprints throughout the verse that you can pick from. That gives you a bit of a tactical choice when you die of where you want to go. So you'll be able to see where you're going to end up going if you respawn or wait for help, or if you're out of MedGel. So I, again, highly recommend. Lots of reading to do here that I won't be able to condense at this time. I'm going to obviously ask you guys to comment down below what you think of it, but here's my thoughts. I think it's good. Making respawning harder was always going to be a part of Death of a Spaceman, and making it cost a lot is one way to make sure that you think about death. I have a feeling most people complaining are either new, or they let that cushy ability to respawn so much in your ships make them forget how that this was never going to stay that way. Star Citizen has always planned to move to Death of a Spaceman. The idea that too much death causes a character reset of sorts. That alone should give everyone the assumption that CIG wants death to feel impactful. And that just doesn't happen if you can respawn frequently with no cost. So you can deduce that they will implement systems to reward planning and keep death on people's minds. Again, if you pay attention to Star Citizen development, I'm sorry, but this isn't out of the ordinary. And if it did catch you by surprise, that's fair. But it has always been planned to be hard on people who die a lot. But of course, again, I want to give you a platform to speak your mind if you disagree, or if you agree, down in the comments below. What do you think of MedGel? Also in aUEC, it looks like we'll get some new stealth options, as locations will have watchtowers with terminals that you can disable. If not disabled, dropships will bring in new troops, but you can choose to shut down those terminals to stop those enemies from spawning again. Okay, let's full dive in to the monthly report now, and as per usual, there's a lot of technical aspects to this that I'm probably going to skip over unless it affects a feature in the game or a feature that's coming very soon. Animation and core gameplay worked on a new creature, which we presume is this guy right here, as data mined by DW Leaks. It looks like this may be a version of the sandworms that we had been shown before. There was work on new mission givers, including more lines for Amelia Boyd. We also have SSN news flash reports that will be visible in-game soon, which ties into some data mined voice lines from Jared. Jared is voicing some new news reports talking about a faction smuggling Vanduul bodies in from Nyx. Now the question is, could this be a nod to Nyx maybe surprise dropping at CitizenCon or before the year is over? Or is it simply that we'll have missions that reference Nyx but will still be in the Stanton and Pyro system? What do you think? For item recovery, the team added the ability to disable components for ships that have been claimed. Additionally, items will now display a timer until they become bricked after they've been claimed by the original owner. This is also displayed to the player as part of a notification when an item is bricked and a player attempts to use it. Crafting had a playable prototype in multiplayer finished. Hopefully this moves on to other teams soon, like Art, to bring it to a state where we get to see it within the year. Control surfaces yet again get a mention, and it seems like most things being mentioned are optimizations and polish. Maelstrom also progressed in tandem with control surfaces. They're looking for more realism for the player in the cockpit for physical animations and vibrations based on various factors like shooting weapons or tight maneuvers. The new quantum travel system had bug fixes and polishing, also making it sound close to release. Turrets won't be super weird to operate anymore, as they simply will just not allow you to shoot at the host ship that you're attached to, taking away that need for complex angle maps. I wonder if they could ever introduce a way to hack into that system that disables the ability to shoot the ship that you're attached to. Because if you want to jump on someone else's ship, get in a turret and shoot off their wing without them realizing it so they crash land, that'd be a really cool way to hijack a ship. But then obviously you can't do that if you just can't shoot the ship. The new transport system has seen parity with the legacy system. This is really good news, because that means it's also close to done, unless they have a lot of extra features that they wanted to tack on before releasing it afterwards, but at least it's parity. And for something that I can actually show you here, the new inventory. We showed this a while back as concept art, and it's progressed well with proximity looting, filters, and search being implemented. I honestly thought this wouldn't be seen until next year, and maybe it still won't be, but it feels like it is making a lot of progress. And for the people that want it, ships. 3 unannounced ships progressed through August. All are currently in various stages with the gray box phase. One is approaching its final review, one is receiving improvements to component accessibility, and the other recently entered following its white box gate review. Let me know what ships you think those might be. The Anvil Paladin progressed to the LOD 0 stage. You can see a little bit of a sneak peek of it here. The Drake Ironclad and Ironclad Assault progressed toward their white box reviews, with the team finalizing the asset kit that will be used across this and other Drake ships. Work on the RSI Aurora and Aegis Hammerhead kicked off to bring them up to current standards, focusing on their cockpit and dashboard views as well as physicalizing components. The MISC Hull B entered pre-production following the approval of its updated concept. The RSI Apollo Medivac and Triage continue to be prepared for release, with testing and bug fixing being the focus. Ships also supported the gameplay teams with medical gameplay adjustments, as we talked about before, and some of the team then moved on to a related but unannounced ship. The RSI Perseus was prepared for its Lot 0 gate review, with additional lighting and detail passes being done across the interior and exterior. And finally, the Drake Kraken's pre-production phase continued onward. And to finish off the ship talk, the ship showdown has ended with the Polaris winning. Big surprise, that one, isn't it? If you're a subscriber, you can take a look at your subscriber flares here. And the official map for Squadron 42 has been shared. It feels like a lot of features are just on the cusp of being released and being put into our hands. I'm wondering if we're going to see any of these released or talked about at CitizenCon, which I will be doing a live watch party of on this channel right here and on my Twitch channel. I will, however, be away doing interviews for the Rocket League Championship Series World Championships next week, so I will not be able to get an episode out. But there's plenty of other people that do news videos, so I doubt you're going to miss this. But if you do come back to watch mine, thank you very much. And if you want to chat throughout the week, you can join the Discord. The link is down in the description below. And shoutouts, as always, to my fourth wall subscribers for making sure that I can dedicate time to doing this every week. Either way, thank you for watching. Stay safe, be kind, and we'll see you in the verse.